All right, let's talk about one of the biggest mysteries that happens to us every single night: dreaming. For so long, scientists have been on totally different pages with competing ideas about why our brains even bother. But what if they weren't competing? What if they were all just different chapters of the same story? Let's dive in. You know the feeling, right? You wake up and for just a second, you're holding on to this incredible idea, this wild adventure, this feeling. And you try to grab it, but poof, it's just gone. It's so frustrating. And it turns out there's a really good reason that happens. See, the patterns in your brain that make up a dream are, well, super unstable. Think of it like a message written in the sand. If you don't do something right away, like write it down or say it out loud, the tide of wakefulness just washes it away. The story breaks apart into little pieces, and that's it, it's gone. And that fragility is a huge clue in the mystery of what dreams are for. That whole fading act has made dreaming a massive puzzle for science. For the longest time, the field has been totally split, with everyone defending their own corner, unable to agree on one single reason why we do it. Yeah, for most of recent history, you can basically picture the big theories on dreaming like they're in a boxing ring, each one trying to knock the others out. It gave us this really fragmented picture of what's going on. So let's meet the three main contenders. So in one corner, you've got the threat simulation theory. This is the classic evolutionary take. The idea is that our brain uses dreams as a kind of built-in virtual reality simulator. It lets us practice our fight or flight responses to scary situations, but without any of the real danger. So when a real threat comes along, we're better prepared. In the other corner, we have the learning angle, memory consolidation. This theory says dreaming is basically our brain's nightly filing clerk. It takes all the messy, temporary memories from the day, sorts through them, and files them neatly into the big library of our long-term knowledge. It's how we learn. And our final contender is the emotion regulation theory. This one sees dreaming as a kind of mental and emotional tune-up. It's the process that helps us reset our emotional dials, taking the stress and anxiety from the day and smoothing it all out so we can wake up feeling more balanced. So you have these three big, compelling ideas: a survival tool, a memory filer, and an emotional therapist. And for years, the big question was always, which one is right? But what if that was the wrong question all along? And this is where everything changes. The old way of thinking put these theories in a cage match against each other. The new view? It suggests we should see them as players on the same team, all working together in one single elegant process. This new framework is called the Brain Kinematics Model, or BKM for short, and it's a total game changer. It doesn't pick a winner. Instead, it says, hey, all three of these things are happening. They're just happening in order, as three connected stages of the same nightly job. So how does that work? Okay, so what does this actually look like in practice? The easiest way to picture it is like a nightly assembly line for your mind, where each station preps the material for the next one down the line. So here's how that assembly line flows. The whole process kicks off with stage 1, scenario simulation. Any solutions or insights from that get passed down the line to stage 2, where they're locked in during memory consolidation. And finally, stage 3, emotion regulation, comes in to clean up and balance out any leftover emotional energy from the whole process. Let's zoom in on that first stage, because it's really cool. And here's a huge piece of the puzzle from this new model. That first stage, the scenario simulation, isn't just about running from predators. It's way bigger than that. It's a powerful, all-purpose problem-solving engine. It gets to work on any big, unresolved issue the brain is hung up on, whether that's a survival problem, a tricky situation at work, or even a creative block. This is the perfect example. The famous chemist August Kekulé was completely stuck trying to figure out the structure of the benzene molecule. It just didn't make sense. Then, one night, he dreams of a snake biting its own tail, that ancient symbol, the Ouroboros. He woke up with a jolt and realized, that's it. Benzene has to be a ring. His brain wasn't simulating a physical threat. It was simulating a conceptual one, and came up with a world-changing answer. Okay, so if these three stages are all linked up, what's the deep-down reason for it all? What's the engine driving this whole nightly process? The answer, it turns out, is incredibly simple and really beautiful. It all comes down to a master principle called continuity theory. And the idea is this. Pretty much all processes in the brain, and maybe even in nature itself, have this built-in drive to move away from a state of imbalance, or what science calls strain, and toward a state of stability and balance. Dreaming, then, is just one of the brain's main strategies for getting back to that balanced state every single night. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. It's the big aha moment. Each stage of the dream process is just fixing a different kind of imbalance. Scenario simulation, that tackles a conceptual imbalance, an unsolved problem. Memory consolidation, that fixes a structural imbalance by organizing our messy memories. And emotion regulation, it resolves emotional imbalance by getting rid of leftover stress. They're not different goals, they're just different tools for the exact same job, getting your brain back in balance. Now, this is way more than just a cool science theory. This unified model has real practical consequences for our waking life, for our mental health, and even for how creative we can be. And here's the thing, because these stages are all links in a chain, if you break the chain, the whole process falls apart. If you don't get through the full cycle, maybe your alarm goes off too early or you keep waking up, you're not just losing out on some weird dreams. You are actively interrupting this vital balancing act, and you will feel the effects of that the next day. So what's the big takeaway for you? Well, this model explains so much. It explains why a bad night's sleep can leave you with an emotional hangover. That's your emotion regulation stage getting cut short. It shows us that dreaming can be an incredible tool for creativity if you learn to listen to it. It makes it crystal clear why a full, uninterrupted night of sleep is absolutely essential if you're trying to solve a tough problem. And most of all, it tells us that every single night, your brain is working hard to keep you sane and in balance. So instead of thinking of dreams as these random, passive movies that just happen to us, we can see them for what they really are: an active, purposeful, and seriously powerful problem-solving process. It completely reframes the whole experience. You have this amazing supercomputer running simulations for you all night long. The only question left is, what problem are you going to give it to solve tonight?